Alright, let's move on to step 6, operation result and paged result. Now, take a look at this image. On the left, you can see the old response from our API. It's simple. It just returns the product data directly. We have fields like the ID, the name, the description, the quantity, and the price. That works fine, but there's a small problem. It doesn't tell us what happened. Was this a success? Did it fail? Is there an error message we should know about? There's no clear context, just raw data. Now, look at the right side. Here, the same product data is wrapped inside a structured response. You'll notice it starts with status, true. This instantly tells us the operation was successful. Then, inside result, we find our product details. The same banana record with its ID, name, description, quantity, and price. Finally, we have a message field, which in this case is null, meaning there was no error. This new format might look slightly longer, but it's much more powerful. It gives every response meaning, success, failure, and a clear message that can help when debugging or building a front-end interface. For example, if something goes wrong, the same structure would return status, false, and the message could say something like product not found or database connection failed. Now, let's take a look at this response. On the left, we have the old response from our API. It's a simple array, just a list of products. Look at the right side. Right away you can see it's much more structured and meaningful. At the top, we have status, true, confirming that the operation was successful. Then, under result, we have an object called items, which contains the list of products, the same banana, pineapple, and apple data we had before. But here's the big improvement. Below the items, we now have page number, page size, total count, and total pages. These properties give us powerful pagination control. This new structure transforms a basic data list into a professional API-ready response. It's clean, consistent, and full of context. You always know what happened, what data is included, and how much more data is available. So what used to be a plain list of products is now a rich, self-explanatory response that's easy to read, easy to debug, and ready for production. That's the power of operation result combined with paged result, clean code, clear communication, and scalable design. In this step, we'll create two small but very powerful helper classes. These classes will make your API responses more organized, easier to read, and consistent across the entire project. That means whether something succeeds or fails, the response will always look familiar, clean and predictable. Let's start by creating a new folder named Utilities. This folder will hold reusable helper classes that can be shared across all controllers and services in your project. Think of it like your project's toolbox. Everything inside helps keep your code cleaner and easier to maintain. Now, inside the Utilities folder, add a new class called OperationResult.cs. Then, type the following code. Before we dive into the lines, let's pause and look closely at the class definition, public class operation result. That little less than t greater than symbol, pronounced generic type t, is very important. It means this class is generic or flexible and can handle any type of data you pass into it. Here's why that matters. Imagine one controller returns a product, another returns a user, and another returns a list of orders. Instead of creating separate result classes for each type, like product result, user result, and order result, we can use this one class operation result of t for all of them. The letter T stands for type. It's a placeholder that represents whatever data type you're working with at that moment. So when you call this class with a product, T becomes product. If you use it with a list of users, T becomes list of user. And if you're working with a single string or number, T becomes that type too. This approach saves a ton of time, keeps your code clean, and makes it reusable across your entire application. So instead of repeating yourself, you define the pattern once and let T handle the rest. Now that you understand what T does, let's go ahead and fill out the rest of the class code. The class operation result of T is what we call a generic wrapper. That means it can hold any kind of data, a single product, a list of users, or even a Boolean value. It's like a flexible envelope that always carries three things: a status, the data, and a message explaining what happened. The status property is a simple true or false value. If the operation succeeded, for example saving a product to the database, the status will be true. If it failed, maybe because of a missing field or a connection issue, it'll be false. The result property contains the actual data you want to return. The message property provides more context. You could return product created successfully, or if something failed, error, product not found. This message makes your API responses human readable and helpful when debugging or testing. Now the two static methods, success and failure, make it super easy to create consistent responses. You don't need to manually build response objects every time. For example, in your controller you could simply write return operation result. Success, product. That sends back a structured response showing that everything worked, including the product data. Or if there's an issue, you might write return operation result, failure, product not found, and that's it. Simple, consistent, and professional. Now let's add another helper that will handle pagination. This is especially useful when your API returns long lists of data, like hundreds of products, users, or orders. We don't want to send all that data at once. Instead, we send it in smaller, manageable pages. Inside the same utilities folder, add another file named pageresult.cs. Then enter this code. Let's break this one down too. The items property holds the actual data for the current page. For example, if you're displaying 10 products or users per page, this property would hold those 10 items. Page number tells you which page of data you're currently viewing, page 1, 2, 3, and so on. Page size defines how many items appear per page, for example 10 or 20 records. Then we have total count, which represents the total number of records available in the database, and total pages, which tells you how many pages exist based on that total count and page size. Here's a quick example to make it clear. Let's say you have 100 products in your database and your page size is 10. That means total count equals 100 and total pages equals 10. When you're on page number 3, items will contain products 21 through 30. This structure is extremely helpful for both front-end developers and API consumers. It allows them to build smooth pagination features with buttons like Next, Previous, or Go to page 5. So, to summarize, Operation Result standardizes the format of your responses, and Paged Result organizes large sets of data into smaller pages. Together they make your API cleaner, faster to maintain, and much easier to use. In the next step, we'll connect these helpers with our repositories and controllers, so every response in your app looks polished and consistent from start to finish.